Welcome back, my passive income investors. I was recently on vacation in Las Vegas, and I figured this would be more than an appropriate time to talk about gambling stocks and the stock market in general. So let's jump right into this one, guys. So, first of all, if you guys have never been to Las Vegas, I would highly suggest you go. Many of you don't know, but I'm actually a full-time magician, and I was over there just checking out like Penn and Teller, Copperfield, Chris Angel, all the magicians. It was very educational, very inspirational, and obviously I wrote it off. Tax season's coming up, guys. It's nice being able to write off vacations and a job that I have. I'm very fortunate that way. But I want to talk about these Las Vegas stocks, gambling, and I also want to talk about the stock market as if it was kind of like a casino as well, guys. Now, I don't like gambling personally. The whole time we were there, I gambled once on the way out, guys, and it was on roulette. I put everything on red, well, only $15 because that was the minimum bet, and it hit red, and I doubled my $15, and I guarantee you, I was one of the only people to walk away from that table who actually made money, which is a reason I don't like playing the casino, guys. I am a magician, so in my mind, I see gambling as statistically a way of losing all of your money. Magicians only play games they know they can't lose, and you will always lose at the casino if you play long enough. That's what they want you to do. They don't care if you win in the short term, so long as you play in the long term, guys. And I was recently looking at MGM Resorts, and I was looking at this specific company, well, because this is where they hosted some of the shows we went and watched. We walked through the casino. It was very busy, very interesting, and I had to check their stock out because I don't think I've ever done it in the past. Now, the interesting thing about this company is it never recovered from the 2008 crash, and I'm sure that would have to do a lot with that whole real estate boom and bust, guys, especially in Vegas, where there was a lot of what was the thing, like David, I think it was David Siegel is the name. I can't remember his first name. I'm pretty sure it was David Siegel. You can quote me in the comments if I'm wrong. But he was doing those timeshare things, and I think the timeshares were very popular in Las Vegas. And I don't know how much MGM was involved with that, but clearly their real estate kind of just took a punch and went down with the rest of the market when that happened, guys. And it never recovered. Similar to a lot of the U.S. banks, it kind of has just been hovering down. But if you bought it after the crash, you've been doing pretty well, because I think it hit a low of somewhere between like $7-8. It could have been a little lower, and now we're sitting at like $28. But the stock itself has not been that entertaining to watch. It's trading at a PE of 35, which is a little high in my opinion. I thought it would have been a lot lower than that. It's got a dividend yield of 1.7% and a market cap of roughly around $15 billion. And I was reading some reports. There's a lot of analysts that are talking about maybe this is a good time to buy it because they just did some buyouts or buy-ins on some companies that have to do with online gambling. It's kind of weird that MGM and a few of these big resort companies are a little late to the online gambling. Kind of weird to me because in Canada here, we live very close to Casino-Rama. I've done a lot of jobs there. And when you go into Casino-Rama, at a lot of the tables now, behind the tables, there's another table with a camera and a dealer playing online games with people live at the casino. It's really interesting, but I didn't see that once the whole time I was in Vegas, which was a little odd to me, and I was explaining it to some people there, and they've never really heard of the concept either, and so they thought it was kind of a neat idea. So I'm surprised that they haven't got caught up with that, which if I was an investor, would be very concerning, which would lead me probably wanting to look towards some more other online casino kind games that are publicly traded, guys. Because I thought that these stocks would do very well, similar to like tobacco companies and all the other kind of sin stocks, but apparently they just have not. So I was kind of surprised by that. Am I going to buy MGM? Absolutely not. But I think this was a really fun stock to analyze, guys. Now, a lot of people tell me that the stock market is gambling, and I get this a lot from a lot of different people, and I'm sure you've heard it as well, that it's very similar to gambling, and it is if you make it gambling. Because when I started out 5 years ago into the stocks, I did day trading. I absolutely tried day trading. I tried everything, and I made a lot of money and lost a lot of money, and I found myself mainly just around that break even mark with day trading, because it was literally one of those things where I was taking these really low flow to pink sheet dangerous OTC market kind of stocks, and I was just listening to news. I remember I traded a stock once where I made $500 in like 2 minutes, but if I went to the bathroom and came back, I would have lost more than half of it. And that was a lot of pump and dumps you'll end up finding in those scenarios, guys. Just things you don't want to be a part of that you really need to be careful with. If you are into day trading, I'd suggest watching maybe like Timothy Sykes, very interesting day trader there that I learned from as well. But day trading is not my thing. And when you go into a stock without a plan, especially when you're day trading, you are an idiot. Most people go in and they'll buy a day trade stock. They'll just buy it and think, okay, let's wait. The idea is you go in with a price where if it drops to, you're going to get out, which you usually set a stop loss, and you set a price to where when it goes up, you're going to get out. And this is true for any stock you're buying, guys, that does not pay a dividend. This is very important to understand. When you buy into any stock, I was doing this with Canopy Growth Corp, guys. I went in knowing what I was buying it at, understanding that this was the price I was willing to pay, and then I knew what price I was going to get out at when it got up to that price, guys. You have to have these in and out plans. You really have to be strategic when you're gambling. And what do I mean by gambling, guys? It means you are presuming that somebody's going to pay you more for that stock in the future than it is worth today. When companies don't pay dividends, they don't pay you out capital to shareholders, you're really presuming the managers aren't going to screw it up and that someone's going to actually pay you more in the future for it, guys. So that would put that in the realm of gambling to me, because again, the future is pretty hard to predict, but with really stable companies like banks and things that pay dividends that have been staples and have been around for a very long time, there's a lot of security and a lot of sense that comes with that. So I do not think the stock market's gambling. I think there's more risk taking out a 6-figure loan to go to school for 5 years or 8 years when you're like a 17, 18-year-old just fresh out of high school. I think there's more risk to that and more dangerous situations you could lay into because you can't default on student loans, whereas you could probably default on the debt you took out for this stuff. So just a quick fun little video today, guys. I had a really good time in Las Vegas. If you've never been, you should definitely go. It was a ton of fun. That was the first real break I've taken in almost 2 years, guys. It was really well needed, and it really refreshed and started my mind, and I'm glad to be back. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to slap a like on it, consider subscribing, stay cool, stay awesome, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.